Everyone thinks the Viofo A229 Duo is the obvious pick for a dual dash cam, but here's the thing, you shouldn't buy it yet because there are two big gotchas most people miss. In my testing, it nailed daytime clarity, sure, but it also exposed some nighttime and parking mode realities that can make or break your decision. Look, I ran this cam for 3 weeks, about 1,000 miles in mixed city and highway driving, plus 48 hours of parked testing with a hardwire kit. And what I found flipped my recommendation twice. Stay with me because the headline specs don't tell the whole story. Before we dive into what I discovered, quick heads up. If you're already leaning toward it and want the best current price, I dropped the link below. But stick around because the details could save you money or steer you to a better fit. Here's why I even picked up the A229 Duo. A hit and run in my apartment lot left me with a cracked bumper and zero usable footage from a bargain dash cam that overheated and looped over the evidence. I needed a dual-channel setup that was discreet, reliable in summer heat, and actually helpful when parked. The Viofo A229 Duo kept coming up. Front and rear 1440p QHD at 30 fps, Sony Starvis sensors, GPS built-in, supercapacitors for heat resistance, 5 GHz Wi-Fi, and optional buffered parking mode with the HK3C hardwire kit. On paper, it checked every box, but I've been burned by spec sheets before, so I went in skeptical. Could a mid-priced 2K plus 2K setup actually capture plates at speed, survive a hot car, and not drain my battery in parking mode? Let's be real, most dual cams crumble on at least one of those. Daytime first. In bright sun, the A229 Duo is impressive for the money. The front camera's 1440p at 30 fps with a wide aperture did a great job balancing shadows under overpasses and harsh reflections off windshields. With the optional CPL filter attached, interior reflections vanished and contrast popped. At about 35-50 feet, plates were consistently legible at city speeds. The rear 1440p channel wasn't just an afterthought, it looked almost as crisp as the front, which is rare at this price. But then the sun went down. Night driving is where reality sets in. In well-lit streets, you'll still get usable detail, but in darker areas or when a car's brake lights flare, plates can bloom and smear. At 25-30 mph, I had a 60-70% success rate catching plates head-on. At higher speeds or with oncoming glare, it dropped. The rear camera is similar, good under street lights, challenged in unlit roads. This isn't a Viofo-only issue, 2K Starvis sensors across the board fight the same physics, but if your driving is mostly at night, know that you're pushing the limits of any 1440p 30 setup. Parking mode next, with the HK3C hardwire kit, you get buffered event recording, motion detection, and voltage cutoff. I set the cutoff to 12.2 V and sensitivity to medium. In a 48-hour garage test, it captured every approach and bump with a few false positives when headlights swept by. The buffer meant I got about 10 seconds before impact, which is crucial context. But then, battery draw, dual-channel parking with motion enabled will nibble at your battery if you leave it for days. It's not crazy, but if you leave your car parked for long stretches, you'll want either a higher cutoff voltage, time-lapse mode, or a dedicated battery pack. Connectivity, the 5 GHz Wi-Fi is noticeably faster than older Viofos. Pulling a 1-minute clip took under a minute on my phone, and the app was stable for me, though the interface is functional more than pretty. GPS locked within 30-60 seconds on most drives, stamps speed and coordinates, and you can toggle those off. Voice notifications are handy. It tells you when recording starts or if the SD card has an issue. I also tested the optional Bluetooth remote. Single tap locks a clip instantly. Small thing, big value when something happens fast. Heat and reliability. Supercapacitor power is the unsung hero here. I left the car in a lot for 2 hours in 95°F ambient heat. The A229 Duo kept recording without a meltdown or swollen battery drama. That's exactly why you don't buy budget cams with lithium batteries. Install and quirks. It's a low-profile, adhesive mount design, which I prefer. The rear cable is thin enough to tuck under trim. In a sedan, it reached cleanly. Plan 45-60 minutes for a tidy install. It supports high-endurance microSD. Viofo recommends up to 256 GB, and it's picky if you use cheap cards. Use a proper card or you'll get errors. Also, you're dual 2K30 only. There's no cloud service and no 60 FPS dual-channel mode. Here's where it gets interesting. The most surprising finding wasn't the front camera, it was the rear. The A229 Duo's rear QHD channel is genuinely useful, not just a box checker. In daytime, it held onto details surprisingly well, and even at night it gave me context I've never had with 1080p rears. That's a big leap over older dual cams. And because I put in the hours, 3 weeks, multiple lighting conditions, and back-to-back comparisons with an older A129 Duo, the differences stood out. The A229 Duo's 5 GHz transfers and improved processing make it feel modern without the premium of cloud systems like Blackview or Thinkware. But here's the reality check. If you drive mostly at night or care deeply about plate capture under glare, you might want to step up to systems with newer sensors or higher bitrates. Viofo's own A229 Pro bumps the tech with improved nighttime performance and a 4K front option at a higher price. If you need cloud features or remote live view, the A229 Duo simply doesn't do that. You'd be looking at Thinkware or Blackview, and you'll pay for it. On the flip side, if you want rock-solid daytime performance, reliable parking capture with buffered events, and true dual 2K value, the A229 Duo hits a sweet spot. Now that you know where the A229 Duo shines and where it compromises, this is the point where you decide. If it fits your driving mix, grab it while prices swing. I've linked the best current deal below, plus the hardwire kit and CPL filter I used to get these results. Bottom line, don't buy the Viofo A229 Duo blindly. Buy it if you want a no-nonsense, 2K front and rear setup with excellent daytime clarity, reliable heat tolerance, and practical parking mode, and you're realistic about nighttime plate capture. Night-heavy drivers or cloud addicts should look at the A229 Pro or a cloud cam instead. For commuters, rideshare, and road trippers who value proof over fluff, the A229 Duo is the right kind of boring. It just works. The real takeaway, you shouldn't buy it until you know why you're buying it.